and
Oh yeah,
rebranding. So we talked about this a little bit
we
because
did. Hmm.
DJ Dana, a good friend of ours, uh,
Hmm.
she's now going to be rebranding to Dana Soul because she does so much more than DJing now that the DJ Dana doesn't really encompass everything that she does. So she's going to be becoming Dana Soul. She's working on logos, everything like that, and it's pretty crazy because most DJs start before they're 23 years old. So you don't have a ton of experience in life, in business, in marketing, and we're choosing the thing that it's the first thing that people know when they see a
Hmm.
flyer, like your DJ name. And for thinking, oh, the name doesn't matter, the name doesn't matter. Are you gonna, what image pops in your head when you think about DJ Killa versus DJ Flower? Like those,
Hmm. Yeah.
there should be two very different things that pop in your head. So, what do you think? You've thought about changing your DJ name and rebranding. I've definitely thought about mine. What are your thoughts?
Well, as far as what, like whether I should do it or not, or just like,
Maybe
well, yeah,
things to consider. Things
yeah,
to consider
things
when
to
it comes to
consider.
D. Yeah.
So and a thing that we're all considering for sure is, we've built these brands. I've been DJ B Funk for hell, almost probably 20 years now. People know that name, and so same thing, Access. People know us and for what we've done, and so to throw that away is a scary thing, but also it speaks to certain things, and so the reasons I've wanted to do a rebrand is I've most people knew me through, like, I met you, Mike, through Dave Rave and stuff like that. That was electronic, party rocking DJ. Then most of my work now is mostly weddings and stuff like that. I still do Trust Me Dance Party, which is a passion project. But I've had conversations about, heard that people are like, oh, that guy just does that. Or if I'm doing something different, it's not me doing that skill. It's really me just pretending. It's like when a dubstep DJ says, oh, I can play deep house, and they're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really doing it. They're just like, I'll just do whatever is needed. And, and so like a lot of hip hop DJs will just do EDM. And so, but I do think the name and what comes across, like I said, DJ Killer versus Flower, that speaks to people, and so if you want to do something starkly different than what you're doing, the name is crucial, and maybe your DJ name is something you picked, or maybe it picked you. Like, I didn't pick B Funk, it just kind of came to me, but then it made sense, and that's what I think will happen for a lot of y'all trying to figure it out. But yeah, be mindful and don't be afraid to, like, have different projects. I mean, that's something I've really thought about, and something that is helpful, I think, is if you just have an idea, if you're like, hey, you know what, I want to be here's the thing. This is what happens to a lot of you DJs. You're gonna have the DJ name that pays the bills. That's what D Funk does right now. He does weddings, does Halloween and stuff like that. That pays my bills, and I love weddings and stuff like that. But that's not like my favorite. But it would make sense to have all that trance stuff and, like, electronic stuff that I'm really really into in my branding, because it would just confuse a lot of the weddings. They would think they're going to get a rave when they're not, and so creating that other moniker is important. So something to think about is, like, if you come up with a new name and you're not sure, just run it on Instagram. Run on Instagram, run it on Twitter, and then run on Facebook and YouTube. See if anybody else has that name, and if they do, pick something else, because it just saves time. You want to have something that's already ready, that's easily found, and you want to be the same. So this has happened to me. I have everything is at DJ B Funk except my YouTube. Now YouTube's gotten better now, where it actually goes to DJ B Funk, but it used to be, the official name is youtube.com/bfunkofficial.
Mm.
My Twitch name is at Papa
Papa B
B
Funk.
Funk, because I was
Yep.
too slow. Like, that's confusing. That's confusing for people, and especially in a land now where people do not give a crap about anything and will not put effort into anything. They are not going to go find your socials. Even if you have it on there, they're not going to click. So make it easy so they know, like, at DJ B Funk for everything. So yeah, if you're thinking of a new name, just run it through. You can just go to a website, and the way to do it is go to Instagram.com / and then type in those letters, and it'll show you, like, hey, this pops up somewhere, or it'll say you're not available or not something, and it's probably available for you. And that'll help you a little bit, I think, of creating something. And don't be afraid to sit on stuff. Even if you're not sure, if you're like, hey, you know what, I'm just starting. Maybe you're like, you want to do two different things, but you got these two dope names, just sit on it. There's nothing wrong with squatting. People do that all the time with websites,
You might get
so
paid it one day. If some, you 20,
yeah.
not 20 years later, but 3 years later, when someone says, "Hey, I want to be this person," might get paid. I've offered
Yeah.
money to different DJ accesses to see if I can get that. Like mine's DJ Access Music, right? I would love to have the straight DJ Access, which I actually had at one point, and then for some reason I got rid of it. Somebody else picked it up. I've offered them money. It's inactive, so I'm out.
Yep.
Finish your thought, please.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. I think that's, there's a DJ Funk in Minnesota, not the DJ Funk, but and he would get a lot of my emails. And he's like, "Hey man, I'm selling this name. Do you want it?" And so there's value in that. And so you never know, but yeah, I think really thinking about that is important, especially in this day and age where everything is so like what you're presenting before. Like we talked about, is it your skills or the look? It's the look. So the name and everything is so critical to what you're talking about and doing that, if you're not coming correct, people get confused. Like if you've got dubstep logo looking stuff, which if you've ever looked at a dubstep flyer, like, and I'm not hating on dubstep, I love it, but like some of those logos are terrible, but you can tell it's going to be tear out rhythm and dubstep and everything like that. It's not going to be melodic trance or something like that. And so speak to that. That's what your brand has to do. Speak to something. Not just I'm a DJ, because everybody thinks a DJ is just some person in a doing like a college bar. No one really cares. But if you're doing a certain thing, make sure your name speaks to that. And I think that's really important. So that's why I've been going through, because I really want to create a moniker that really does a certain type of electronic music. Maybe it's either trance or like house music, but that really just speaks directly to that. And that moniker just does that. B-Funk will play trance and stuff like that, but also I'll come down and throw down your wedding and have a great time, and those are two different things. And I think sometimes that just hurts me, because people think that I don't want a wedding DJ at my, 2,000 person warehouse party. It's like, yeah, but I could do both, but we're, like yourself, Mike, we're anomalies. We're not the norm, with the wedding DJ stuff, and then we know this. Wedding DJs could go do what other people do, but other people can't do what we do, but a lot of people, don't go both ways. And so, but some of us do, but, they don't see it that way. Like, you're just a wedding DJ, you're just going to play the Macarena. And so it's like, no, I could throw down, so, but yeah, I think it's really crucial, and really think about it, and be passionate about it. Just be, hey, you know what, this name speaks to me. People will see the passion you have in what you're doing. And then it's like this: if a DJ's not dancing, why should I dance? I always think about that same thing. If the DJ's dancing, having a good time, then the crowd's gonna have a good time. And so you are a reflection of what you're doing. So
yeah, and your DJ name is your reputation. Like, if you have a bad set, or you get too drunk, or something happens, and that's all they know about DJ B-Funk, that's your name. It could be, you could tarnish your name. So I wrote some things down, almost like a rate my DJ name, so if you're a younger DJ, if you're thinking about, your first DJ name, things to think about, and I'll have you chime in at the end, B-Funk. So
sure.
The first consideration is the story, right? You said you didn't choose your DJ name. I didn't choose my DJ name. So there's a story behind it. And, that's one question if you get to be a big DJ, that's the question that people are going to ask, how'd you get your DJ name? How'd you get your DJ name? So having a good story behind the name can be kind of cool. It can make for good content. It can connect you to your listeners, to your audience, everything like that. So the story, difficult pronunciation. So I'm thinking of guys like maybe Tiesto at one point. Everyone knows how to say Tiesto now, but maybe at one point, they didn't. And maybe if you could help me out with somebody who's a good example of that, Deadmau5, right? People didn't know people to this day don't know how to say Deadmau5.
I've heard Deadmau5 so many times from people to this day. Yeah.
So, Deadmau5 had to really work to get to a big platform to where, okay, people know his name now, but his fans know his name. But if you're just reading the name, it's Deadmau5, which can be confusing. So, and there's probably better examples. So difficult pronunciation, difficult spelling. This is the big one for me, right? Because I'm DJAXCESS. I put that X in there because I was in college. I didn't know anything about marketing. And now every time I say my DJ name, when I'm telling someone in my Instagram, I say DJAXCESS with an X, AXCESS, right? So if I could go back, I would be either DJ regular access. I would have loved to have been DJ Verse. I think that would have been my DJ name if I could go back and do it, just, for versatility and everything like that. So difficult spelling when you're trying to market yourself, if I say DJAXCESS, Hey, thank you, everyone. My name's DJ Access. Peace. I'm out. People search ACCESS. They find me
Mhm.
now. However many years later that I've been DJing, but maybe not immediately, and that you might lose followers that way. So how unique is it? So this is the big one for you, B Funk, right? Because when you type
Mhm.
in B Funk, B Funk's
Oh my
not an
God,
uncommon
dude.
name, right? If you want to talk about
Dude,
that for me, please. Yeah. How so your uniqueness? How has that affected your DJ name?
it hurts so bad. I mean, so there are, like I've been doing it for a while, so I was able to claim. But if you just search DJ B Funk on SoundCloud on any platform, there's like straight up like 4 or 5. It's like B Funk, DJ B Funk underscore DJ underscore B Funk. Like there's so many. Then there is a DJ Funk. Like the legendary. Like Booty
Mm-hmm.
House DJ. That people get confused with, and so it's a lot. There's Parliament Funk, and like P Funk. So there's a lot of like when I give my DJ name, people always hear DJ Funk or and then so it's a list of weird thing. Is it B Funk, P Funk, G Funk, all this stuff. So that's really confusing in that for me, which, but I will say it's short, access B Funk, so it's like you can say it, it's not a funky spelling, so it is helpful that way. But uh, this the commonality of the word and just funk, and people are like, oh, he must be a funk DJ. It's like, no, it's just it's more funky, like the flavor. But even that is a little confusing. But if I go back in time, I would 100% change it. But it's worked, and people like I like hearing it. So it's cool for me. So
Yeah, and you've owned it, and you've made it into something that is so yeah. Again, uniqueness. Like B
hmm
Funk said, type it in on Instagram, see how many people
hmm
have that name, and because it could cause you legal troubles later.
yeah.
DJ
hmm
Corrupt ran into that. There's
Oh,
DJ
that's right. Yeah,
Corrupt,
yeah.
yeah, DJ Corrupt, fantastic DJ from Columbus, Ohio, also a producer, and Corrupt is not a unique name, so he had something where there was a Corrupt in UK who started to bubble up as a producer, and it came to, hey man, I'm corrupt, you're corrupt, we're both big in our own countries, who gets the DJ Corrupt moniker,
hmm
and it came down to legal things. They're cool, like they're friendly, but ultimately lawyers had to get involved. Corrupt had a copyright, so now that other Corrupt is Corrupt UK, and he's doing very well. They're friends. They make fun of each other on Instagram. But
hmm
another thing to consider with Nikas, it could come back to have legal troubles later. The next thing I had written down was, do you include DJ? So back in the day, everyone had DJ in your name. Everybody.
hmm
And now it's rare that a new DJ has DJ in their name unless they're a battle DJ. So
hmm
do you have, DJ Access, DJ B Funk, or is it just Access? Is it just B Funk? Something to consider. And then we talked about this earlier, but the first impression, without hearing anything about you, when people see your name written out, what emotion does it entail? Is it something like Avicii, where it could mean anything? Is it something like Pretty Lights, where it invokes like this emotional happiness? Is it something like Excision, which is more of like a grimy sounding name, or a Datsic? Can I say Datsic? I'm gonna say it, Datsic, or a bass nectar. Okay, clearly
Yeah.
this guy is a bass DJ, right? Or
hmm
maybe he's not. We don't know until we actually go hear them. But what does the first impression of your DJ name mean? And I think that, do you have any final thoughts, B Funk? Because I think that's a great discussion and then thank you, P Sub, for for confirming that. I just read it. I think that's a pretty good discussion on DJ names. Anything else you want to
Yeah,
add?
yeah. I really think and don't be afraid to use the crazy symbol. Don't think about what it looks like when you type it out, like on a flyer or stuff like that. Like, if you're brand new or looking for rebranding, just work on all this stuff because yeah, you want it to be, don't be afraid to not be simple, but you want people to, 1 or 2 syllables. Try and keep it at that
Mm,
if you can. If it feels good, don't be afraid to go further. But like 1 or 2 syllables, because you want people are going to be chanting your name. You want them to be able to
great
say that and
point.
remember that. Like it's like you know. And so like having that, be like be
B
funk. Yeah, it's
Funk,
like I,
B
I can make
Funk,
a
B
drop or
Funk.
something like that. Access, like people cheering is an important thing. It just makes it easier for everybody. Just I'm not saying that there's a wrong way, but there's definitely an easier way. So if you can start using some of these parameters, I think you'll see success quicker. And so instead of, like some of us kind of I wouldn't say stuck with our name, but if we could go back, we would change some stuff, and so like, you learn from us,
Yes.
like it's, we've had to like push through a lot of stuff to get to where we are or whatever. And so I'm happy for Matt, but yeah, I think that's just something I think about. And, but really, yeah, don't do the, or the other thing I think if you really are stuck on a name and let's say, the name you want, there's just one other person and they don't have any, like it's on Twitter, no one actually has done anything with it. Don't be afraid to say say I was DJ B Funk, say my all my pages be I am DJ B Funk or something like that.
B Funk Music, something like that.
Exactly. At B Funk Music or something like that. There are ways to claim
B Funk
something
the
that has
DJ.
yeah, because I do have noticed as well with just bots and stuff like that, they'll just sit on these Twitter, so maybe you have 3 of the 4 Twitters taken because somebody, it's related. Like me, I'm a nerd, so I'm always thinking like this like kind of different, goofy pop culture type stuff. And so there might be something on Twitter somebody created that's just a bot waiting, that doesn't even have a person with it. You could put all, B Funk Music, I am B Funk or something like that. I think that's always a good way to get around that. I've seen some electronic DJs do that, and I like that, where they're trying to claim their own space, and that's the same across all their socials. So.
And my final thought is, don't be afraid to go by your real name. Again, it's the same thing where, you can make it whatever you want it to be. But, don't be afraid to start with your real name until you really land on something that makes sense. Again, most DJs are choosing their DJ name between 18 and 23 when they don't know, they haven't taken a single marketing class. They don't know about business. They don't know what kind of DJ they are in the first, year to 2 years, 3 years. A lot of people change styles, change programs. So don't be afraid to go by your real name and then figure out your moniker later on.